Formula One, Miami Grand Prix, and Kim Antonelli with his third consecutive win in Miami, third consecutive pole position he picked up in qualifying, and now it was the third win in a row. Again, brilliant win for Kim Antonelli. He had to do it in the hard way this time. He was not given much. I won't say he wasn't given much favors. Like, for example, Japan, where Piastri was better than him in my opinion, but he got a bit lucky with the safety car. This time he didn't get much luck. He had to really work for it. He was absolutely fantastic, Antonelli, especially with him as a young kid, 18, 19 years old. And yes, he's got the fastest car, but still you have to do the job, and he's doing it incredibly well. Much better than his teammates, by the way, who's much more experienced. So again, fantastic performance from Antonelli and from Lando Norris as well. Because I mean, though watching Lando and Antonelli's performance was like watching Verstappen versus Hamilton 2021, where these two were absolutely above everybody else. They were destroying everybody, and they were much better than their other teammate. Hamilton was much better than Bottas, and Verstappen was much better than Perez. This race was like that. Norris was much better than Piastri, and Antonelli was much better than George Russell. Fantastic performance from Kimi Antonelli and from Lando. You look at the race start. I mean, it was quite chaotic, and it wasn't raining. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, I looked at the race of F2 and I think like, oh, there's going to be rain, there's going to be chaos. But there was no rain in this race. I was like, what's going on? I thought there was going to be thunderstorms or something, but nothing happened in terms of the condition. That was drastically. But at the same time, Antonelli, you look at the race start. I mean, Antonelli, he locked up, went off the track. Leclerc had a great start. He went into the first position. Verstappen was trying to cover Lando Norris. And then Verstappen he spun 360, and yeah, Verstappen made a bad mistake. Again, he had another difficult start, which is the continuation of Verstappen's this season. I mean, how many bad starts he has this season? Antonelli, he didn't have a terrible start. I mean, he only lost one position. That's the positive. But at the same time, he locked up and he went off the track. But yeah, not went on the track, but because there was cars also beside him, like Leclerc, Verstappen, and I don't think Lando maybe also. So yeah, but then obviously Leclerc took the lead, second, Antonelli third, Lando fourth, Piastri, and it was a crazy first lap. Leclerc took the lead and he was fantastic in that first lap, and again Ferrari amazing in the race start, fantastic again. Verstappen struggled again in the race start, and then Lando had he did really well, had a very good pace to go past Antonelli. He went past Antonelli for second position, and then safety car came. Actually, before Lando went past, there was a bit of moment between Antonelli and Leclerc. Antonelli went past Leclerc, and then Leclerc went past Antonelli, and then Lando went past Antonelli, and it was kind of back and forth, and then safety car came in with the crashes of Hadjar and also from Gasly, which was quite a horrific crash from Gasly's side, but thankfully he was okay when he had that crash with Lawson. I don't know why Lawson didn't get the penalty, by the way, for that crash. But anyway, safety car came, and then the safety car finished, and then Lando went past Charles Leclerc. He did went past Charles. Yeah, he went past Charles Leclerc, and then Antonelli went past Charles Leclerc as well. And Lando was looking really strong. He was in first position from lap 15, or after the safety car from lap 25. He was looking very strong. He had a decent, good lead over Antonelli. However, a couple of laps before the safety car came in, there was moments where you think like, okay, there was moments where Antonelli started to close in on Lando, because, for example, Lando was, I think, 3 seconds ahead of Antonelli, and then Antonelli made that gap from 3 seconds to 2.1 seconds before they made the pit stops. And it was not easy to be honest, for the engineers to exactly examine which was the correct decision to do, because if, for example, if Lando pitted or Antonelli pitted for hard tires and then 2 laps later it was raining, then they look like absolutely stupid. So it was not easy. But at the same time, with the moment Antonelli started to close in on Lando, I think this should have been the moment where Lando and his team should have told Lando to go into the pits. I think that this is a mistake that McLaren did. I know it was not easy because you expect the conditions to come in lap 40, 2-3 laps, etc. But at the same time, the moment Antonelli started to close in on Antonelli, when he started to close in, I think this should have been the time that Lando went to the hard tires. In my opinion, and I know people say, oh, but if he went to the pits and he pitted and then 2 laps later it rains, he looks like stupid. Yes, I get that. But at the same time, if you look at all the other drivers, they also pitted. All of them went to the hard tires. Leclerc went to hard tires, Russell, Verstappen, and so on. Very early Verstappen, by the way, because he obviously had that lockup. So, or he spun, sorry. So yeah, even if Lando went to the pits, the only driver who, let's say, didn't go to the hard tires or didn't pit would have been Antonelli. So I think this should have been. I think this is something I think this is something McLaren should have done, to go to the pits as soon as Antonelli started to close in a bit on Lando. They should have went to the pits. And when Antonelli went to the pits first, and then Lando lap after, like Lando should have been, McLaren should have been active in this race, not reactive. They should have been active with their strategy, and that's what cost them the win in the end, unfortunately for them. So yeah, and it was a great mistake, and then both drivers pitted. So, when Lando pitted, there were Antonelli and Norris was side by side, but then Antonelli took the advantage of the slipstream, and he got the undercut, and he went past Lando Norris. So yeah, and then you look at Leclerc. I mean, Verstappen was continuing to run on old hard tires. Leclerc was behind him. Piastri went past Russell, and then Leclerc went past Verstappen. Piastri went past Verstappen as well, and there was a bit of moment. There was a good battle between Antonelli and Lando. Lando, he looked like he could pass Verstappen before Verstappen was leading the race, but Antonelli was second and third Lando, and there was a moment where Lando could have easily gone one past Antonelli, but Antonelli defended quite well, and the gap was quite small, always between them. I think except maybe the last 10-15 minutes when Antonelli started to have it more under control with the lead he had over Lando. It was always close between Antonelli and Lando. And Lando and Antonelli were fantastic. They're absolutely amazing. I think the only two drivers who can come out of this race and say, "Oh, I did everything I can. I was absolutely amazing, and I was better than everybody else," was Antonelli and Norris. Those were the only two drivers you could say they were. Yeah, I gave everything. Maybe the Williams drivers, maybe with the Williams drivers, but maybe Colapinto as well. Colapinto had a good performance as well. But I think that those two drivers, Antonelli and Norris, were a league of their own. They were fantastic, and I think Lando was quite frustrated after the race, with the undercut that he conceded, and rightly so, because he did everything he can to win this race. He was absolutely fantastic. He went past Antonelli, went past Leclerc, and he lost the race because of something he cannot control. So I do have some sympathy for Lando in that regard, because he did fantastically well. But you have to also give credit to Antonelli, because Antonelli did really well to win the race. Considering he didn't have the best start, he conceded another position, and he lost the position to Lando, and he was in third position. And considering Lando was faster than Antonelli before the pit stops, and when Lando started to close in again on Antonelli defended fantastically well against Lando, and he got it under control. And so that was a very good, fantastic drive from Antonelli, because I think this kind of situations you usually see drivers who don't have this kind of much experience, capitulate. But Antonelli didn't do that. He said that he had some problems with his rears, but he dealt with it fantastically well. He was fantastic and he defended really well Lando, and that's third win in a row. 20 points clear now of Russell. I mean, I still think, it's a long season. I mean, Russell and Lando haven't had the best start of the season, but it's still a long season. We saw it last season. Piastri had an amazing start to the season, and Verstappen and Lando were kind of struggling, but we all know what happened at the end. So Antonelli is performing really well right now. He's having a great form, but obviously it's still a long way to go and things will change. But I tell you, Antonelli, if he keeps this level of good performances, he has a proper chance of winning the titles this season. That's for sure. So brilliant performance for him, brilliant performance for Lando. Unlucky from his side as well, where he should have won the race in my opinion, or deserved to win the race. So yeah, fantastic. And also there was crazy ending at the end, because Leclerc was third, fourth Piastri, fifth Verstappen, and sixth George. And Leclerc is I don't know what was he thinking, Leclerc. I mean, he kind of wanted to let Piastri go so he can overtake him on the other side. And that really backfired him at the end, because he spun, and then he went off the track a couple of times, and he had a problem with the left tire. And also, when Russell went past him in the last lap, obviously, Leclerc went off the track a couple of times. He went off the track 3 or 4 times, and which is the reason why he got 20-second time penalty, which was a fair penalty. I don't know, people say, 20 seconds is harsh. No, it's not harsh. He went off the track 4 times. 4 times. So when you go off the track 4 times and you're driving the car unstably and you spin and you like, come on, like Leclerc really effed it up. He massively effed it up. I mean, he effed up his podium position. He effed it up. I mean, in this race he could have comfortably got a podium. I mean, but he was trying to be cheeky, trying to be smart with Piastri when. He was like, okay, go Piastri, and then I overtake you on the other side. He was trying to be cheeky, but when he tried to be cheeky, you sometimes it can backfire you, and it happened to Leclerc. He made a terrible mistake, and then he got the chicane 4 times, and then Russell went past him. I mean, especially if you look at when Russell went past him, Leclerc was trying to move the car, and his top left tire was kind of squeezing, like bump like that. I mean, like honestly, like his car was maybe unstable, and then not only Russell went past him, Verstappen went past him, and Verstappen, he did well to finish 5th, by the way. This concerning his he was on very old hard tires. He did well to finish 5th, but you also could say he put himself in that situation because of that mistake he did in the first lap. But he did well to finish 5th in the end. Russell, I mean, you have to say, got a bit lucky, because his performance wasn't great. The fact that he finished 4th in the end, he didn't deserve it, because his performance was not good enough to finish 4th, because he should have finished 5th also with his performance. But yeah, what a race! Fantastic! I really enjoyed that race. There was safety car, there was crashes, there was drama, there was lockups, there was spins, there was battle for the lead, there was crazy ending. I loved that race. I loved it. Like, you can clearly see that there's no new. Listen, it's only one race weekend, so it's difficult to say and difficult to put a clear judgment. But you can clearly see those new changes, rule changes that Formula 1 and FIA made. It clearly helped the drivers to make them feel better in the qualifying and the race. So, of course, it's not everything perfect, but for sure, and from what I hear from all the F1 fans, and from what I felt in the race and qualifying, those whole weekend, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Qualifying was the best qualifying this season so far, better than Japan, China, and Australia, because the gaps were smaller, were kind of close between all the drivers. So yeah, brilliant race. I mean, Leclerc he really effed up his podium position. And he got a 20-second time penalty, and he dropped down to 8th. Verstappen got a 5-second time penalty for a pit lane infringement, but that doesn't matter because he had a near 10-second gap to the next driver behind him, which was Lewis Hamilton. So he stays in 5th position, but Leclerc went down to 8th position, and that means he finished below Hamilton and Colin Pinto. So a really bad day of the office, really bad weekend for Ferrari in general. So, and yeah, Antonelli keeps winning, and McLaren have for sure clearly improved. That's it, guys. Thank you. I wish you have a nice day. See you next time, and goodbye.